Finally, the terrifying storm tearing apart the fortress of the gods starts to relent. Perhaps because its monstrous source is nowhere to be found.
At least for now.
With fire thief Prometheus no longer in her way, the Titan toppling princess is one step closer to the summit of the mountain of the gods. A step shrouded in darkest mystery, until a future time enlightens all of us.
This storm.
At first, the storm which now engulfs the summit of Olympus may appear to have been wrought by gods in their defense, but its monstrosity belies a far more sinister nature.
Let's locate the source.
Thus, the ever-ready princess of the underworld gained the very heights of Mount Olympus to confront an unspeakable horror that awaits. It is no secret to which horror I refer. No secret now to its enormity, its boundless anger, or its many, many eyes. Such horrors cannot truly be destroyed, unless the princess can come up with something at a future time.
Ouch! Return to shadow now.
The embodiment of strife has vanished, yet her influence remains, as earth and sea alike remain embroiled in a cataclysmic conflict she is keen to endlessly perpetuate.
Eris must be having the time of her life.
A lofty mountain is not easily besieged, so the crafty Titan of Time sought winged beasts susceptible to his persuasions and capable of wreaking havoc from the skies.
Looks like they've made themselves at home.
Thus did the Princess of the Dead break through the siege on Mount Olympus and defeat the fire-stealing Titan of Foresight, only to take on dangers so beyond imagination that they cannot currently be shown at all.
Return to shadow now.
Some scarce deliveries risked by swift Hermes represent what aid the gods can finally provide unto the Princess of the Dead, now that the summit of Olympus is ahead.
I'll take whatever I can get.
Ought to be something you can use in here.
Another night, another massive undulating monster brought to heel. And for the Princess of the Dead, such victories are to be savored, but only for a bit.
Ow! Return to shadow now.
One step closer comes the surface-seeking princess to the vaunted palace of the gods. Yet certain other steps remain, ere her tale here is to unfold in full. On the outskirts of the city lies a makeshift dock, from which a vessel may cut through the channel across the land toward the mountain of the gods.
Looks like I'll need...
Not even the intense heat rising from the mountain's central hearth can entirely dispel the chill here in the air. A gathering storm, not wrought by gods, but something else.
Something friendly?
On black wings does the uncontrollable embodiment of strife go wheresoever she may please, and lately, that is often in the Princess of the Underworld's way.
Cheers, Eris.
The hopeless threat of Typhon, whom the Princess of the Underworld sent howling toward the earth from which he sprang in all his rage, subsides, but only for the night.
The family can enjoy a moment's rest.
Much is required to subdue the hulking, furious progenitor of all the world's monstrosities. Courage, strength, agility, a lifelong training regimen from a great witch, perhaps even a stroke of fate. This night, at least, the princess has it all.
Return to shadow now.
Another night, another massive undulating monster brought to heel. And for the Princess of the Dead, such victories are to be savored, but only for a bit. The barely held together city is a labyrinth of streets, some barricaded still, yet others not, each horror-filled, night after endless night.
So many mortals.
Another night, another massive undulating monster brought to heel. And for the Princess of the Dead, such victories are to be savored, but only for a bit.
Return to Shadow, now!
This world is filled with monsters large and small, and for the most part, they are not unstoppable, as evidenced by our Dark Princess of the Dead, who thus decides to take a little break.
Return to Shadow now.
This world is filled with monsters large and small, and for the most part, they are not unstoppable, as evidenced by our Dark Princess of the Dead, who thus decides to take a little break.
Return to Shadow now.
One of the serpentine tales of Typhon, lord and father of all monster kind, slashed through floor after floor of the fortress behind which the Olympians take shelter from his storm. Some scarce deliveries risked by swift Hermes represent what aid the gods can finally provide unto the Princess of the Dead, now that the summit of Olympus is ahead.
Night.
The crossroads hide the plans and movements of the nightmare-bringing witch and her compatriots. But for how long?
Long enough. You're looking better already.
Even the doleful residents of the morning fields would rather languish longer there than plummet deeper into the abyss, where only the most wretched shades reside.
Only the most wretched serving Kronos. Downward.
Vanquished only for the moment, scheming Kronos cannot be so easily destroyed. Yet in her every fleeting victory against him, fierce Melenoi recovers something she thought lost.
I still remember flashes of this.
The future is uncertain, but one certainty is this. Time marches ever onward, often faster than one might presume, until we find ourselves wherever the fates mean for us to be, which in the Princess of the Dead's case